The lane narrows between timber-framed houses, quiet now that the market day is done. Somewhere behind a shuttered window, a candle gutters and steadies. Tonight we settle in beside the quiet work of the 14th century, to sit with the scholars of Timbuktu, let the centuries fall away. Sink gently into your pillow, the day is done, and you are safe to rest. Let your eyelids grow pleasantly heavy. This is quiet history. Let us begin. The sun has begun its slow descent behind the golden dunes of the Sahara, casting long violet shadows across the mud-brick walls of Timbuktu. In this 15th century city of learning and trade, the heat of the day is finally yielding to a gentle, cooling breeze. The dust, stirred up by the afternoon caravans, begins to drift toward the earth, leaving the atmosphere clear and still. You stand at the edge of the scholars' quarter, where the architecture is a testament to the endurance of clay and wood. The Mosque of Sankore, with its iconic pyramid-shaped minaret, rises above the rooftops, its timber beams jutting out like fingers toward the fading light. Every surface of the great building is coated in a rich ochre plaster that seems to glow with an inner warmth as the daylight fades. The city is moving into its quietest hour, a time when the clamor of the market has softened into a low, distant murmur. You can hear the faint rhythmic pulse of a mortar and pestle as someone in a nearby kitchen prepares the evening meal. The scent of wood smoke and roasting grains drifts through the narrow, winding alleys, mingling with the dry, earthy aroma of the desert. Inside a private courtyard, the walls are high and thick, shielding the interior from the lingering warmth of the sun. A small fountain, carved from stone, trickles softly in the center, providing a delicate liquid note to the silence. The floor is covered in cool woven mats of dried grass, which feel smooth and firm beneath your feet. In the scholar's study, the light is dim, provided only by a single flickering lamp, fueled by vegetable oil. The flame dances slightly, casting moving shadows across the rows of leather-bound volumes that line the walls. These books are the treasures of the city, hand-copied by generations of scribes on fine imported paper or local parchment. You reach out and touch the spine of a thick, weighted manuscript, feeling the grain of the goat leather binding. It is cool to the touch and smells of cedarwood and old dried ink. This book has traveled across the desert in a scholar's pack, surviving the wind and the sand to find its home on this shelf. On the low wooden desk, a sheet of paper lies open, waiting for the pen. The surface is creamy and smooth, reflecting the amber light of the lamp. Beside it sits a small clay inkwell filled with a deep black liquid made from charred wood and gum arabic. A reed pen sharpened to a fine point rests in the tray, its tip stained with the labor of the day. The scholar moves with a measured, deliberate pace, his robes of fine white cotton rustling softly as he sits. He does not hurry, for the pursuit of knowledge is a task that spans a lifetime and beyond. He picks up the pen and dips it into the ink, the movement, so practiced it seems almost silent. The scratching of the reed against the paper is the only noise in the room, a tiny, crisp sound that marks the passage of thought into form. Each letter is formed with careful precision, the ink flowing smoothly to create the intricate flowing script of the Arabic language. It is a slow, meditative process, a dance of hand and mind in the deepening twilight. Outside the window, the sky has turned to a deep indigo blue, and the first stars are appearing over the horizon. The Sahara is immense and silent, a sea of sand that stretches for thousands of miles in every direction. Timbuktu sits at its edge, a beacon of thought and reflection in a world of shifting dunes. The stillness of the evening is profound, a weighted silence that seems to hold the history of the empire within it. In the madrasas, the students have finished their lessons and are now resting or engaged in quiet, private study. The pursuit of law, astronomy, and medicine continues behind these thick mud walls, away from the eyes of the world. You watch as the scholar pauses to let the ink dry on the page. He blows softly on the wet letters, his breath a tiny warm puff in the cooling room. The lamp flickers as the oil burns low, but there is still enough light to see the beauty of the work. Every page is a map of a mind seeking to understand the universe. On a nearby shelf, a collection of astronomical instruments catches the light. An astrolabe made of polished brass reflects a single golden spark from the flame. Its circles and scales are finely engraved, used to track the movements of the planets and the stars across the African sky. It is a tool of immense precision, crafted by masters of the forge. The smell of the ink is slightly metallic and sharp, a contrast to the soft, dusty smell of the room. It is the scent of preservation, the smell of ideas being locked into time. In this city, books are more valuable than gold, for gold can be spent, but knowledge only grows. You move to the window and look out over the rooftops of the city. The mud-brick houses look like piles of square stones huddled together for warmth in the cooling evening. The palm trees in the distance are dark silhouettes against the starlit sky, their fronds unmoving in the still atmosphere. The peace of the hour is absolute, a quiet that settles into the very bones of the city. There is no urgency here, no rush to complete the task before the light is gone. The work will continue tomorrow and the day after, as it has for hundreds of years. The cycle of learning is as steady as the rising of the sun. In the corner of the room, a large ceramic jar holds cool water drawn from the well earlier in the day. The exterior of the clay is damp and cool to the touch as the water slowly evaporates. You pour a small amount into a cup. The sound of the liquid splashing is bright and refreshing. The water is sweet and cold, a precious gift in this arid landscape. It clears the throat and calms the spirit, a simple pleasure that is cherished by those who live at the desert's edge. The scholar takes a sip, then returns to his manuscript, his focus unbroken. The lamp begins to sputter, its wick nearly spent, but the scholar does not reach for more oil. He knows when it is time to rest and let the mind process what the hand has written. He closes the book, the weighted leather cover meeting the pages with a soft, muffled thud. He stands and stretches his joints, popping softly in the silence. The room is now mostly in shadow, the corners lost to the dimness of the late hour. He moves toward the sleeping mat, his footsteps light on the grass flooring as he prepares to end the day. The city of Timbuktu is now fully asleep under the watch of the Saharan stars. The knowledge within these walls is safe, held in the silence of the libraries and the hearts of the keepers. As the last light of the lamp goes out, the darkness is not cold, but protective and deep. The desert breathes a long, slow sigh as the sands shift in the distance. The journey of the mind will resume with the dawn, but for now there is only the peace of the quiet hours. The scholar rests and the books wait in the stillness of the time-worn city. The cooling breeze of the Saharan evening moves through the open arches of the Sankore Courtyard. It carries the scent of sun-baked mud and the faint lingering aroma of wood smoke from the communal kitchens. The large pyramidal minaret of the mosque stands as a silent guardian, its timber supports, casting long, lean shadows across the dusty ground. Every stone and every brick of this place seems to hold a memory of the thousands of students who have passed through these gates. In the corner of a quiet portico, a stack of wooden tablets, known as aloe, rests against a pillar. These boards, worn smooth by the hands of young scholars, are washed clean, every evening ready for the morning's lessons. The faint ghost of Arabic script can still be seen in the grain of the wood, a testament to the verses and equations that have been etched there time and again. It is a place of constant renewal, where the old is preserved and the new is carefully written down. You walk slowly through the corridors, where the temperature is several degrees cooler than the open street. The walls are thick, made of hand-formed mud bricks that have been plastered with a smooth grey clay. This natural insulation keeps the interior comfortable even when the sun is at its most fierce. In the half-light, the texture of the walls is visible, showing the marks of the fingers that applied the plaster centuries ago. A small copper lamp hangs from a chain in a recessed niche, its flame dancing softly in the draught. The oil within the lamp is clear and burns with a steady golden light, illuminating a nearby shelf. On this shelf lie several volumes of Islamic law and astronomy, their covers made of fine red leather from the tanneries of the north. The leather is embossed with intricate geometric patterns that catch the light and create a sense of depth and history. The work of the bookbinder is evident in the precise stitching of the spine and the way the pages lie flat when opened. These books are not merely objects, but vessels of a culture that prizes learning above all else. In the silence of the library you can almost hear the ghost of a turning page, a soft, dry whisper that echoes through the centuries. The knowledge contained here is a bridge between the desert and the stars, a link between the past and the future. Outside, in the narrow streets of the city, the pace of life is slow and deliberate. A night watchman moves through the shadows, his footsteps muffled by the soft, sandy earth. He carries a staff of polished wood and a small lantern that casts a pool of amber light around his feet. The city is a maze of interconnected courtyards and alleys, where every turn reveals a new hidden corner of history. In a nearby workshop, the smell of damp leather is strong and earthy. A craftsman sits on a low wooden stool, his hands moving with practiced ease as he prepares a new set of covers. He uses a small sharp knife to pare the edges of the skin, making them thin and flexible. The noise of the blade against the leather is a rhythmic scraping that fills the small room with a sense of industry and purpose. He works by the light of a single tallow candle, his focus entirely on the task at hand. There is no rush in his movements, only a steady, measured pace that comes from years of experience. Each cover he creates is a work of art, a protective shell for the precious manuscripts that will soon be placed within. The craft of the bookbinder is essential to the survival of the libraries, ensuring that the wisdom of the ages is kept safe from the elements. In another part of the city, a dyer's vat sits in a quiet courtyard, its surface reflecting the starlit sky. The liquid within the vat is a deep, rich indigo, a color that is highly prized throughout the region. The smell of the dye is sharp and fermented, a characteristic of the traditional process. Tomorrow, the fabric will be dipped and dried in the sun, taking on a hue that is as dark as the evening sky. A few doors down, a baker's oven is cooling, its thick clay walls still radiating a gentle warmth. The scent of charred wood and baked grain lingers in the atmosphere, a comforting reminder of the day's labor. A few stray crumbs lie on the stone floor, attracting the attention of a small desert mouse. The silence of the bakery is absolute, a peaceful end to a busy day of providing for the city. You move toward the city walls where the desert meets the town in a blur of sand and stone. The fortifications are tall and imposing, made of the same sun-dried mud as the houses and mosques. They have stood for generations, protecting the wealth and the wisdom of Timbuktu from the shifting sands and the occasional raider. From the top of the wall, the view is breathtaking. A sea of dunes stretching out into the distance under the silver light of the moon. The desert is not a void, but a landscape of constant movement and change. The wind whistles softly through the gaps in the battlements, a low morning note that speaks of the vast emptiness beyond. Yet within these walls there is a sense of security and community, a shared purpose that has endured for centuries. The city is an island of civilization in a sea of sand, a place where the mind can roam free. In a small garden, tucked away behind a scholar's house, a pomegranate tree grows its leaves dark and glossy in the moonlight. A stone well sits in the center of the garden, its wooden bucket resting on the rim. The water deep below is still and clear, a reflection of the stars above. The garden is a sanctuary, a place of meditation and quiet reflection for those who seek a moment of peace. The scholar often comes here to think and to pray away from the distractions of the library. The smell of the earth and the faint perfume of the blossoms help to clear the mind and focus the spirit. It is a place where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual seem to thin, and the true nature of the universe becomes clearer. The garden is a living testament to the beauty and the fragility of life in the desert. Back inside the house, the scholar prepares a fresh sheet of parchment for his next work. The parchment is made from the skin of a young goat, carefully scraped and dried until it is smooth and white. He feels the texture of the surface with his fingertips, checking for any imperfections that might snag his pen. The quality of the material is vital for a work that is intended to last for centuries. He picks up a reed pen, its tip carved to a fine point, and dips it into a jar of black ink. The ink is made from charred wood and gum Arabic, a mixture that is both permanent and beautiful. He begins to write the first few characters of a new treatise on the movement of the planets. The sound of the pen scratching against the parchment is the only noise in the room, a steady, rhythmic pulse. The ink flows smoothly from the pen, forming elegant curves and sharp angles on the white surface. The scholar's hand is steady, his focus absolute as he translates his thoughts into written words. This is the heart of Timbuktu, the quiet, tireless pursuit of knowledge that has made the city famous throughout the world. Every word he writes is a contribution to a vast and growing body of wisdom. As the night deepens, the scholar pauses to look at a brass astrolabe resting on his desk. This intricate instrument is used to measure the altitude of the stars and to determine the time of day or night. Its surface is covered with fine engravings and moving parts that represent the celestial sphere. It is a masterpiece of engineering and art, a tool that allows the mind to navigate the heavens. He adjusts the dial of the astrolabe, aligning it with a bright star visible through the window. The precision of the instrument is remarkable, a reflection of the advanced state of science in the empire. For the scholar, the stars are not just points of light, but keys to understanding the order of the universe. He makes a note of his observations, his handwriting neat and precise in the margins of his manuscript. The candle on his desk is burning low, its light casting flickering shadows on the walls. He knows that the hour is late, but the drive to discover and to record is stronger than the need for sleep. He turns to a new page, his mind already racing ahead to the next set of calculations. The work of the scholar is never truly finished, for there is always more to learn and more to understand. In the quiet hours before the dawn, the city remains in a state of peaceful expectation. The air is crisp and cool, and the silence is broken only by the distant howl of a jackal in the desert. The libraries and the mosques stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time, their secrets held fast in the shadows. The transition from the dark of the night to the light of the day is a slow and graceful process that begins with a softening of the horizon. The morning haze carries the scent of wood smoke and parched earth as the city of Timbuktu stirs in the pre-dawn light. From the top of the great mud-brick minarets, the first call to prayer rises like a thread of song into the indigo sky. It is a melody that has defined the measure of these hours for generations, calling the faithful and the learned alike to the start of their day. In the small rooms of the scholars, the lamps are trimmed and the final lines of the night's study are carefully blotted. The scholars rise from their mats, their movements slow and deliberate as they prepare for the morning prayers. They dress in robes of white cotton or deep indigo, the fabric cool against their skin in the early chill. Each man carries with him the weight of his studies, the knowledge of the stars, the law, and the holy texts that he has spent his life mastering. They step out into the narrow streets, where the sand is still cool under their feet. The city is a maze of earthen walls and carved wooden doors, each one a gateway to a house of learning. As the scholars walk, they are joined by their students, young men who have traveled from across the empire to study at the feet of the masters. The murmur of their voices is a soft accompaniment to the shuffle of their footsteps on the sandy ground. There is no haste in their pace, for the pursuit of wisdom requires a steady and patient mind. They reach the Sankore Mosque, its pyramid-shaped minaret reaching toward the fading stars like a prayer made of clay. In the courtyard, the scholars perform their ablutions, the water cool and refreshing as it flows over their hands and faces. The splash of the water against the stone basins is a clear and bright noise in the quiet of the morning. It is a ritual of purification, a way to clear the mind and the body before entering the presence of the divine. Inside the mosque, the atmosphere is one of profound peace and devotion, the light of the oil lamps casting a warm glow on the pillars. The scholars find their places on the straw, mats their bodies aligned in rows as they begin their prayers. The low chant of the verses fills the space, a collective expression of faith and learning that has echoed within these walls for centuries. In this moment there is no distinction between the teacher and the student, for all are equal in their search for truth. As the prayers conclude, the first rays of the sun touch the top of the minaret, turning the mud brick to a glowing gold. The scholars and their students move to the courtyard, where the lessons of the day will soon commence. They sit in circles on the ground, the masters in the center, their voices calm and authoritative as they begin to recite the texts. The students listen with rapt attention, their minds absorbing every word, every nuance of the teaching. Some of the students hold wooden tablets covered with a thin layer of white clay, on which they will write their exercises. They use reed, pens and ink made from the soot of the cooking fires their hands, moving with a practiced grace. The act of writing is a sacred task, a way to preserve the wisdom of the past for the benefit of the future. Each character is formed with care, the ink sinking into the clay to create a lasting record. In the nearby libraries, the keepers of the books are already at work, their hands moving among the shelves of leather-bound manuscripts. They check the condition of the parchment, ensuring that the dry desert heat has not made the pages brittle. These books are the true treasure of Timbuktu, more valuable than the gold and the salt that pass through the city's markets. They are the cumulative memory of a civilization, a testament to the power of the written word. A scholar pauses to examine a map of the heavens, its lines and symbols representing the movements of the planets and the constellations. He traces the path of a wandering star with his finger, his mind calculating its position with mathematical precision. The study of astronomy is not just a scientific pursuit, but a way to understand the order and the harmony of the creation. It is a bridge between the earthly and the celestial, a path to a deeper understanding. The morning light grows stronger, revealing the intricate patterns of the city's architecture, the buttresses and the beams that support the great mosques. The mudbrick walls are thick and solid, designed to keep the interior cool even in the most intense heat. They are a reflection of the resilience and the ingenuity of the people who built this city in the heart of the desert. Every structure is a work of art, a blend of form and function that has stood the test of time. Outside the mosque, the city begins to wake, the sounds of the market rising in the distance as the traders set up their stalls. The smell of roasting grain and spiced tea wafts through the streets, a reminder of the daily needs of the body. But for the scholars, the focus remains on the needs of the soul and the mind, the quiet work of learning continuing unabated. They are the guardians of the city's intellectual heritage, a role they fulfill with a sense of deep responsibility. A small caravan arrives at the city gates, the camels laden with goods from the north and the south. Among the bales of cloth and the bags of salt are bundles of new books, destined for the libraries of the scholars. The exchange of ideas is as much a part of the trade in Timbuktu as the exchange of commodities. A new treatise on medicine or a collection of poetry is received with as much excitement as a shipment of precious metals. The scholar, who has been studying the stars, closes his manuscript and prepares to meet with a colleague to discuss a point of law. They will sit in the shade of a palm tree in a quiet courtyard, their conversation a blend of rigorous debate and mutual respect. The pursuit of knowledge is a communal effort, a dialogue that spans the generations and the borders of the empire. It is this culture of inquiry that has made Timbuktu a beacon of learning for the whole region. As the sun climbs higher, the shadows shorten and the heat of the day begins to make itself felt. The scholars move deeper into the shade of the mosque or the library, their work continuing in the cool dimness of the interiors. The transition from the morning to the midday is a gradual shift, a change in the tempo of the city's life. The focus remains steady, the commitment to the path of wisdom unwavering. In a corner of the library, a young apprentice is learning the art of bookbinding, his hands carefully sewing the pages together with silk thread. He applies a layer of glue made from animal skins to the spine of the book, ensuring that it will be strong and durable. The cover is made of fine leather, embossed with geometric patterns and gold leaf, a fitting frame for the knowledge it contains. This work is as important as the writing of the text, for it ensures its survival. The scholar watches the apprentice with a nod of approval, recognizing the same dedication that he himself felt in his youth. The chain of learning remains unbroken, each link a person who has devoted their life to the preservation and the expansion of knowledge. It is a legacy that is both personal and collective, a gift that is passed from one generation to the next. The apprentice smiles, his focus returning to the task at hand, his heart full of the promise of the future. The city's mosques stand as silent sentinels, their walls absorbing the heat of the sun, while their interiors remain cool and inviting. They are the heart of the community, the place where the spiritual and the intellectual lives of the people converge. The scholars, the students, and the citizens all find a sense of belonging within these sacred spaces. The architecture is a physical manifestation of their faith and their commitment to the pursuit of truth. In the market, the trade in books continues, a scholar bartering a bag of salt for a rare manuscript from a distant land. He examines the text with a practiced eye, his fingers tracing the elegant calligraphy and the colorful illustrations. Each book is a window into another era, a way to connect with the thoughts and the experiences of those who came before. The scholar feels a sense of awe as he holds the volume in his hands, knowing that he is now its caretaker. The dry breeze rustles the leaves of the palm trees in the courtyard, a soft and soothing noise that underscores the stillness of the place. The scholar takes a deep breath, the scent of the desert, and the books filling his lungs a familiar and comforting aroma. He knows that he is part of something much larger than himself, a tradition that has shaped the history of the region and the empire. The work he does here, in the quiet of the morning, has a significance that will endure for centuries. The morning light, now fully established, reveals the true scale of the scholarly activity that defines this desert capital as the city moves into the vibrant activity of the day. The heat of the high sun presses against the thick mud walls of the great library. Inside, the atmosphere remains remarkably cool, a testament to the wisdom of the builders who used the earth itself to create a sanctuary for the mind. A scholar sits on a woven mat of palm fronds, his back straight, his eyes focused on the delicate script before him. He is studying a treatise on mathematics, written in a distant city and brought here across the golden dunes. The paper is thin and brittle, with age requiring the most gentle of touches to turn the pages. He uses a small wooden tool to lift the corner of the leaf, avoiding the oils of his skin which might mar the precious ink. In the corner of the room, a jar of water sits, its exterior beaded with moisture as the liquid evaporates through the porous clay. This simple process cools the surroundings, creating a small pocket of comfort in the midday heat. The scribe reaches for his reed pen, the tip already stained with the deep blue of the indigo ink. He carefully adds a note in the margin, his handwriting as precise and elegant as the original text. The ink is made from local plants mixed with gum, Arabic, and water, a recipe that has been perfected over many generations. It flows smoothly from the pen onto the surface of the parchment, leaving a mark that will last for centuries. Outside, the city has slowed its pace as the people seek the shade of their homes and the mosques. The busy markets are now quiet, the vendors resting beside their wares, waiting for the heat to break. A gentle breeze carries the scent of dry grass and sun-baked earth through the narrow windows of the study. It is a dry heat, one that carries the essence of the desert into every corner of the city. The scholar pauses to rub his eyes, the strain of the work beginning to show in the slight tension of his shoulders. He takes a moment to look out at the courtyard where a single bird is drinking from a stone basin. The water in the basin is still reflecting the brilliant blue of the sky and the green of the palm leaves. It is a moment of peace, a brief respite from the intense intellectual labor of the day. He thinks of the many scholars who have sat in this very spot before him, each contributing to the vast store of knowledge held within these walls. They are all part of a great conversation that spans the ages and the continents. The books here cover every subject from astronomy and medicine to law and philosophy, a mirror of the diverse interests of the people. They are the true wealth of Timbuktu, more valuable than the gold and the salt that pass through its gates. A young student enters the room, carrying a tray of dates and a small cup of mint tea. He moves silently across the floor, respectful of the scholar's concentration, and places the tray on a low table. The scholar nods in thanks, the steam from the tea rising in a thin curl into the still atmosphere. The scent of the mint is refreshing, a sharp contrast to the dusty smell of the time-worn manuscripts. He takes a sip of the tea, the warmth spreading through his body, and the sweetness of the dates providing a much-needed burst of energy. It is a simple meal, but one that is deeply satisfying in the quiet of the afternoon. The student lingers for a moment, his eyes fixed on the book. The scholar is studying, his curiosity evident in his expression. The scholar notices and beckons him closer, willing to share a small piece of the wisdom he has found. They speak in low murmurs, their voices barely audible above the soft rustle of the pages. The scholar explains a complex formula, his fingers tracing the lines of the text as the student listens with rapt attention. This is how knowledge is passed down, not just through the books, but through the personal connection between the teacher and the pupil. It is a tradition that is as old as the city itself, a bond that cannot be broken. The sun moves slowly across the sky, the shadows in the courtyard lengthening and shifting their shapes. The light in the study changes, becoming softer and more golden as the afternoon progresses. The scholar returns to his work, his mind refreshed by the brief interruption and the shared moment of learning. He feels a sense of purpose, a deep connection to the work he is doing, and the legacy he is helping to preserve. In another part of the building, a group of men are repairing the mud plaster on the exterior walls. They work with steady hands, applying the mixture of clay and straw to the surfaces that have been weathered by the wind. This maintenance is essential for the survival of the structure, ensuring that it remains strong and protective for many years to come. It is a labor of love performed by the community who recognize the importance of the library to their identity. The clatter of their tools is a distant and measured noise a reminder of the ongoing life of the city, even in the heat of the day. It is a pulse that beats through the streets and the buildings, a sign of a vibrant and enduring culture. A caravan is seen in the distance, a long line of camels moving slowly across the horizon. They are carrying goods from the north, including fresh supplies of paper and ink for the scholars of Timbuktu. The arrival of a caravan is always an event, a source of news and new ideas from the wider landscape. The scholars look forward to the treasures it brings, the books and the manuscripts that will add to their collection. The desert is a bridge, not a barrier, connecting the city to the great centers of learning in North Africa and the Middle East. It is a highway of knowledge, traveled by those who seek the truth and the light of wisdom. The scholar finishes his chapter and closes, the book, the heavy covers, coming together with a satisfying thud. He places it back on the shelf among its peers, each one a testament to the human spirit and its quest for understanding. He walks to the window and looks out at the city, the mud-brick houses and the towering minarets glowing in the afternoon light. It is a beautiful sight, a city built on the edge of the desert, dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. The people of Timbuktu are a diverse and cosmopolitan group drawn from many different tribes and nations. They are united by their faith and their respect for learning, a common bond that transcends their differences. The scholar feels a sense of pride to be a part of this community, to contribute his own small part to its greatness. He knows that the work he does here matters not just for today, but for the future of his people. The haze is thick with the dust of the desert, a golden mist that softens the edges of the buildings and the trees. It is a magical light, one that seems to suspend the city in a state of timelessness. The scholar prepares to leave the library, his day's work complete, but his mind still active with the ideas he has encountered. He will return tomorrow to continue his studies, to delve deeper into the mysteries of the era. The streets are beginning to come alive again as the heat of the day starts to fade. People are emerging from their homes, greeting their neighbors and preparing for the evening prayers. The murmur of their voices is a gentle and comforting noise, a sign of the resilience and the strength of the community. They have lived in this desert landscape for centuries, adapting to its challenges and thriving in its beauty. The mosque is filling with people, their colorful robes a vibrant contrast to the earthy tones of the mud-brick walls. They gather in the courtyard to wash and to prepare themselves for the spiritual communion of the prayer. The Imam's voice rises in the call to prayer, a beautiful and melodic noise that echoes through the city. It is a summons to reflect, to give thanks, and to seek guidance from the divine. The scholar joins the congregation, his heart full of the peace and the tranquility of the moment. He feels a sense of belonging, a connection to something much larger than himself, a part of a great and enduring tradition. The prayer is a time of quiet reflection, a moment to set aside the cares of the day and to focus on the eternal. It is a practice that sustains the people of Timbuktu, giving them the strength and the courage to face the challenges of their lives. As the prayer ends, the people linger in the courtyard, talking and sharing news before returning to their homes. The sense of community is strong, a bond that is forged in the shared experiences of their daily lives. The scholar walks back to his home, his footsteps soft on the sandy street. He passes by the market where the vendors are now busy, again their stalls illuminated by the light of oil lamps. The scent of roasting meat and spices fills the atmosphere, a delicious and inviting aroma that speaks of the evening meal. The city is full of life and energy, a vibrant and bustling place even after the sun has set. He reaches his house, a modest mud-brick building with a small courtyard and a flat roof. It is a place of comfort and rest, a sanctuary from the busy streets and the heat of the day. The scholar's family is waiting for him, their faces lighting up with joy as he enters the room. They sit together on the floor, sharing a meal of millet, porridge and vegetables, their voices full of laughter and affection. The evening is a time for family and for connection, a moment to share the stories of the day and to plan for the future. It is a vital part of the life of the city, a source of strength and support for its people. The scholar tells his children about the books he has studied and the ideas he has encountered, his voice full of passion and enthusiasm. He wants them to understand the importance of learning and the value of their heritage. They listen with wide eyes, their imaginations fired by the stories of distant lands and great thinkers. They are the future of Timbuktu, the ones who will carry on the tradition of scholarship and the pursuit of knowledge. The lengthening shadows mark the passage of the afternoon as the city prepares for the cooling breath of the coming evening. The meal is finished and the family moves to their resting places. The courtyard is cool now, the heat of the day a fading memory. The scholar remains for a moment looking up at the stars that are starting to appear in the deepening blue of the sky. He moves to his study, a small room filled with the scent of old parchment and dried ink. It is a space of quiet and focus where he can devote himself to his work without distraction. The walls are lined with shelves of books, their leather covers gleaming in the low light of the lamp. He picks up a reed pen, its tip sharpened to a fine point. He dips it into the inkpot, the dark liquid clinging to the wood. He begins to write, his hand moving across the page with a steady and practiced measure. The words flow from his pen, a stream of thought and reflection captured on the page. He is transcribing a text on philosophy, the ideas of a great thinker from a distant land. It is a labor of love, a way to preserve the wisdom of the past for the benefit of the future. Outside the city is falling into a deep silence. The noise of the market has faded, and the streets are empty and still. The only movement is the occasional flicker of a lamp in a window or the distant bark of a dog. The atmosphere is calm and peaceful, a time for reflection and for rest. The scholar is lost in his work, the only sound, the soft scratch of his pen on the parchment. He is in another era, a place of ideas and of beauty where the cares of the daily grind are forgotten. He pauses for a moment to stretch his fingers and to rest his eyes. He looks at the manuscript he is working on, the beautiful calligraphy, a testament to his skill and his dedication. He feels a sense of pride in his work, a knowledge that he is contributing to the great tradition of scholarship in Timbuktu. He is a link in a long chain of thinkers and of writers who have for centuries sought to understand the landscape and its mysteries. he is part of a community of scholars who share a passion for learning and a commitment to the pursuit of truth. He turns his attention to a pile of books that need to be repaired. Some of them are centuries old, their covers worn and their pages yellowed with age. He handles them with care, his fingers gentle as he examines the damage. He will use fine thread and leather to mend the bindings and to preserve the precious contents. It is a delicate task, requiring patience and a steady hand. He enjoys the work, the tactile sensation of the materials, and the sense of satisfaction that comes from restoring something of value. As he works, he thinks about the history of these books, the hands they have passed through, and the minds they have inspired. They are more than just objects. They are vessels of knowledge and of culture, a record of the human experience. He feels a deep connection to the people who wrote them, and to the people who will read them in the years to come. He is a keeper of the flame, a guardian of the collective memory of his people. It is a responsibility he takes seriously, a duty he performs with honor and with grace. The night is advancing, the shadows deepening in the corners of the room. The scholar is still working his lamp, a small beacon of light in the dimness. He is not tired, his mind alert, and his heart full of the joy of discovery. He has found a passage in a book that challenges his thinking, a new perspective that opens up fresh possibilities. He ponders the ideas, his mind racing as he explores the implications. It is a moment of intellectual excitement, a spark of insight that illuminates the murk. He makes a note in the margin of his manuscript, a record of his thoughts and his reflections. He will return to this idea later to explore it in more depth. For now he is content to let it simmer in his mind, to grow and to develop over time. He is a seeker of wisdom, a traveler on the path of knowledge, always looking for new horizons and fresh insights. He is never satisfied with what he knows, always striving to learn more, to understand better, to reach higher. He looks out of the window at the city below. The flat roofs of the houses are silvered by the moonlight, a beautiful and ethereal sight. The city is at rest, its people sleeping, their dreams filled with the stories and the ideas of their ancestors. He feels a sense of peace and of belonging, a connection to this place and its people. Timbuktu is more than just a city. It is a symbol of the power of the mind and the endurance of the human spirit. It is a place where learning is valued and where wisdom is honored. He returns to his work, his pen moving once again across the page. He is writing a commentary on a text of law, a complex and demanding task. He must weigh the different interpretations and consider the implications of each one. It is a work of great importance, a way to ensure that justice is served and that the rights of the people are protected. He is a scholar of the law, a guardian of the principles that sustain the empire. He works with focus and with precision, his mind sharp and his judgment sound. He is aware of the weighted responsibility that rests on his shoulders, the need to be fair and to be just. He is a man of integrity, a person of character who is respected by his peers and honored by his community. He is a pillar of the city, a source of guidance and of support for those who seek his counsel. He is a man who lives his life with purpose and with meaning, a person who makes a difference in the world. The candle is burning low, its flame flickering in the slight breeze that blows through the window. The scholar realizes that it is time to rest, to let his mind and his body recover from the labors of the day. He closes his book and puts away his pen, his movements slow and deliberate. He feels a sense of accomplishment, a knowledge that he has made progress in his studies and in his work. He is ready for sleep, for the restorative power of rest. He blows out the candle, the room plunged into a soft and gentle shadow. He moves to his bed, a simple mat on the floor, and lies down his body, weighted and relaxed. He closes his eyes and lets his thoughts drift like the sands of the desert. He is at peace, his heart full of the tranquility of the evening. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man of learning and of faith, who finds his purpose in the pursuit of wisdom. As he falls asleep, he hears the distant pulse of the city, a low and comforting noise that speaks of the life and the energy of the place. He is part of this pulse, a link in the chain of existence that binds us all together. He is a man of his time and of his place, a person who is shaped by his environment and who in turn shapes it. He is a scholar, a thinker, a writer, a man of the book. In the distance, the first faint light of dawn is starting to appear on the horizon. The city will soon wake up to another day of work and of study, of prayer and of community. The scholar will rise with the sun, ready to face the challenges and the opportunities of the new day. He will continue his work, his pursuit of knowledge, his commitment to the truth. He is a man of Timbuktu, a person of the desert, a seeker of the light. The silence of the evening is profound, a deep and abiding peace that envelopes the city. It is a time for the soul to rest, for the mind to quiet, and for the heart to find its center. The scholar is at rest, his dreams filled with the wisdom of the ages and the beauty of the landscape. He is a part of the story of Timbuktu, a chapter in the book of its history. He is a man who has found his place in the world and who is content. He sleeps deeply and soundly, his breath slow and even. He is at peace with himself and with the world around him. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man of the book, a seeker of the light. The night is long, and the city is still a place of quiet and of reflection. It is a time for the heart to find its rest and for the soul to find its peace. The stars are fading now as the light of the new day begins to grow. The city is stirring, its people waking up to the promise of the future. The scholar will soon join them, his heart full of the hope and the energy of the morning. He will continue his journey, his pursuit of wisdom, his commitment to the truth. He is a man of Timbuktu, a person of the desert, a seeker of the light. The cool air of the dawn blows through the window, a refreshing and invigorating breeze. The scholar stirs in his sleep, his mind starting to wake up to the possibilities of the day. He is ready for the work that lies ahead, for the challenges and the opportunities that wait for him. He is a man of purpose, a person of character who is dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man of the book, a seeker of the light. He rises from his bed, his movements slow and deliberate, as he prepares himself for the day. He will start with prayer, a moment to connect with the divine and to seek guidance for the hours to come. He will then return to his study, to his books, and to his work, his mind focused and his heart full. He is a man who knows the value of learning and the importance of the pursuit of truth. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man who is making a difference in the world. The early morning light touches the tops of the minarets as the first call to prayer begins to echo through the waking streets. The morning sun climbs higher, casting long crisp shadows across the courtyard of the scholar's home. The mud walls hold the coolness of the dawn even as the heat of the day starts to build against the exterior. This is a place of focused effort where the only noise is the soft rasp of a pen across the page. A scholar sits upon a woven grass mat, his back supported by a smooth earthen pillar. Before him lies a low wooden desk, its surface worn by decades of constant use. He reaches for a small ceramic pot containing ink made from charred wood and gum Arabic. With a practiced hand, he dips the tip of his reed pen into the dark liquid, ensuring the nib is perfectly coated. The first stroke is tentative, a test of the ink's flow upon the surface of the goatskin parchment. Satisfied, he continues the elegant curves of the calligraphy forming words of law and philosophy. Across the room, a young apprentice works in silence, his brow furrowed in deep concentration. He is copying a text on medicine, his hand steady as he replicates the intricate diagrams of herbs and healing. The atmosphere is thick with the scent of dried ink and the earthy aroma of the river mud used to build the city. It is a perfume of knowledge and of labor that has filled these rooms for many generations. Outside, the city is fully awake, the pulse of trade and commerce echoing through the narrow streets. One can hear the distant bleat of goats and the low chatter of neighbors greeting one another in the morning light. A light breeze carries the smell of roasting grain from a nearby kitchen drifting through the open doorway. It is a reminder of the simple necessities of life that support the lofty pursuits of the mind. The scholar pauses to adjust his spectacles, a rare and precious tool brought across the sands. He looks at the page, reflecting on the wisdom of the masters whose work he is tasked with preserving. He knows that every letter he writes is a bridge between the past and the future of his people. He is a guardian of memory, a keeper of the light, in a world that is often uncertain. A knock at the door announces the arrival of a visitor, a merchant who has just arrived from the north. He brings with him a bundle of manuscripts wrapped in layers of protective treated leather. The scholar greets him with a warm smile and a gesture of sincere welcome. They speak in low tones of the journey, the weather, and the precious cargo that has finally reached its destination. The manuscripts are carefully unwrapped, their pages brittle but still remarkably intact. They are treasures of history, containing the thoughts of thinkers from many distant lands. The scholar's eyes glow as he examines the texts, his fingers tracing the unfamiliar scripts with reverence. He feels a sense of wonder at the breadth of human understanding and the power of the written word. The merchant shares stories of the cities he has seen and the people he has met. It is a reminder of the interconnectedness of the region and the importance of the exchange of ideas. The apprentice listens in awe, his mind filled with visions of horizons he has only read about. He realizes that his work is part of something much larger than himself, a global conversation. As the sun reaches its peak, the scholar and the merchant share a simple meal of dates and fresh bread. They sit in the shade of the courtyard, enjoying the quiet companionship of fellow seekers of truth. The heat of the midday sun is intense, but the thick walls provide a cool sanctuary. It is a time for rest and for reflection as the city slows its pace for a few quiet hours. The scholar returns to his work, his mind refreshed and his spirit renewed by the new arrivals. He continues his task with a sense of purpose and a commitment to the clarity of the text. He is a man of Timbuktu, a person of the desert, who finds solace in the ink and the page. He is a scholar who knows the value of learning and the importance of the pursuit of wisdom. The day moves forward, the shadows shifting as the sun begins to turn toward the west. The scholar remains at his desk, his pen moving in a measured pace across the waiting skin. He is part of a tradition that has shaped the history of this city and the wider kingdom. He is a man who is making a difference, one carefully crafted word at a time. The silence of the afternoon is broken only by the occasional call of a bird in the palms. It is a time of peace and of productivity as the work of the scriptorium continues unabated. The scholar looks out the window at the rooftops of the city, the minarets rising toward the sky. He feels a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to serve his community through the preservation of books. He knows that his work will endure long after he is gone, a testament to the power of the mind. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man of the book, a seeker of the light. The light begins to soften as the afternoon fades into the golden glow of the approaching evening. The scholar finishes his work. For the day, his heart full of the satisfaction of a task completed. He prepares himself for the evening prayer, a moment to give thanks for the day's blessings. He will then join his family for a meal and a time of quiet conversation about the news from the north. The city is quiet now as the people prepare for the transition to the evening hours. The scholar is at peace, his mind at rest and his soul at ease with his labor. He is a part of the story of Timbuktu, a chapter in the book of its long and storied history. He is a man who has found his place in the world and who is truly content. The stars begin to appear in the sky, their light reflected in the quiet waters of the well. The scholar looks up at the heavens, his heart full of the wonder and the beauty of the universe. He knows that there is still much to learn and much to discover in the volumes yet unread. He is a man who is always seeking, always growing, and always learning from the past. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man of the book, a seeker of the light. The evening is long, and the city is still a place of quiet and of deep reflection. It is a time for the heart to find its rest, and for the soul to find its peace. The scholar will soon be at rest, his dreams filled with the wisdom of the ages and the beauty of the landscape. He is a part of the story of Timbuktu, a chapter in the book of its history. He is a man who has found his place in the world and who is content. As the light of the moon illuminates the courtyard, the scholar reflects on the path that has led him to this moment. The silver light of the moon spills across the floor of the library chamber. It touches the spines of the books that line the walls from floor to ceiling. Each volume is a treasure, a repository of knowledge gathered over centuries from across the continent. The scholar walks slowly, his footsteps muffled by the soft sand that has drifted into the room. He reaches out to touch the leather of a particularly fine binding, the texture cool and smooth under his fingers. It is a work of law written in a hand that is both elegant and precise. He remembers the man who wrote it, a teacher from his youth, who taught him the value of clarity and of truth. The memory is a comfort, a reminder of the continuity of the tradition to which he belongs. The atmosphere within the room is still and expectant, as if the books themselves are waiting to be read. There is a scent of old parchment and of dried ink, a smell that is both familiar and dear to him. It is the smell of his life's work, the scent of his passion and of his purpose. He inhales deeply, letting the aroma fill his lungs and calm his spirit. Outside, the city is silent, the only noise, the faint rustle of the wind in the palm fronds. The heat of the day has dissipated, replaced by a cool and refreshing breeze that carries the scent of the desert. It is a time of quiet and of peace, a moment to reflect on the day's events and to prepare for the hours ahead. The scholar feels a sense of profound gratitude for this life he has chosen. He moves to a small table where a single candle burns its flame, flickering in the gentle draught. He picks up a quill and a piece of parchment and begins to write, his hand moving in a slow and measured pace. He is recording his thoughts on the text. He has been studying a commentary that will one day be added to the library's collection. The words flow easily from his mind to the page, a testament to his years of study and of thought. The ink is dark and rich, its color a deep and velvety black. It is made from the soot of lamps mixed with gum, Arabic and water, a recipe that has been passed down through generations. The scholar takes pride in his ink, knowing that it will endure for centuries, preserving his words for those who will come after him. He dips the quill into the inkwell, the motion smooth and practiced. He writes of the importance of justice and of the need for compassion in the world. He writes of the beauty of the stars and of the wonder of the natural landscape. He writes of the power of knowledge to transform lives and to build a better future. His words are a reflection of his soul, a window into his heart and his mind. He feels a sense of peace as he writes, a feeling of being exactly where he is meant to be. The candle burns low, its light casting long shadows across the room. The scholar does not notice, so absorbed is he in his work. He is lost in the world of his thoughts, a landscape that is as wide and as varied as the desert itself. He is a traveler in the realm of ideas, a seeker of truth in a sea of uncertainty. He pauses for a moment to look out the window at the stars which are bright and clear in the evening sky. He thinks of the many scholars who have stood in this same spot looking at these same stars and wondering about the same questions. He feels a connection to them, a bond that transcends time and space. He is part of a long and noble lineage, a chain of thinkers that stretches back to the dawn of civilization. The silence of the evening is broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl or the distant bark of a dog. These noises are a part of the fabric of the city, a reminder of the life that continues even in the quiet hours. The scholar finds them comforting, a sign that he is not alone in his vigil. He returns to his writing, his mind focused and his heart at rest. He writes of the history of Timbuktu, of its rise as a center of learning, and of its role in the trade of the region. He writes of the great mosques and of the many schools that have flourished here over the centuries. He writes of the scholars who have come from far and wide to study in its libraries and to learn from its masters. He is proud of his city and of its heritage, of the book. The parchment is smooth, and even its surface a pale and creamy white. It is made from the skin of goats or of sheep, carefully prepared and treated to receive the ink. The scholar appreciates the quality of the parchment, knowing that it is the foundation upon which his work is built. He handles it with care, his touch light and respectful. As the hours pass, the scholar's commentary grows, the pages filling with his thoughts and his insights. He is creating something of value, something that will be shared and discussed by others in the years to come. He is contributing to the collective wisdom of his community, a task that he takes very seriously. He is a servant of the word, a guardian of the truth. The dimness in the room deepens as the moon moves across the sky. The scholar reaches for another candle, lighting it from the flame of the first. The transition is seamless, a quiet act in the stillness of the evening. He is a man who is at home in the shadows, a person who finds beauty in the half-light of the scriptorium. He thinks of the many books he has read and of the many lessons he has learned. He thinks of the teachers who have inspired him and of the students he has taught. He thinks of the power of education to change the era and of the importance of preserving the past for the benefit of the future. He is a man of vision, a person who sees beyond the immediate and the temporary. The desert outside is a place of mystery and of wonder, a landscape that is both harsh and beautiful. The scholar has spent much of his life in its embrace, and he has come to love its silence and its space. He finds inspiration in its vastness and a sense of perspective in its emptiness. It is a place where the soul can breathe and where the mind can find its peace. He finishes his commentary for the evening, his heart full of the satisfaction of a task well done. He carefully stacks the pages and places them in a wooden box for safekeeping. He then extinguishes the candles and stands in the darkness for a moment, listening to the silence. He is a man who is at peace with himself and with the world around him. He walks slowly back to his quarters, his mind still active with the thoughts of the evening. He thinks of the work that remains to be done and of the many books that are still waiting to be read. He knows that his journey of discovery is far from over, and he looks forward to the days and the years ahead. He is a scholar of Timbuktu, a man of the book, a seeker of the light. The city is still as he prepares for sleep, the only movement the shadows of the trees dancing on the walls. He lies down on his mat and closes his eyes, his breath slow and even. He is soon asleep, his dreams filled with the wisdom of the ages and the beauty of the landscape. He is a part of the story of Timbuktu, a chapter in the book of its history. He is a man who has found his place in the world and who is truly content. The stars continue to shine in the sky, their light a reminder of the infinite possibilities of the universe. The scholar is at rest, but his work lives on, a testament to the power of the mind and the endurance of the human spirit. As the first hint of dawn touches the horizon, the city prepares for another day of learning and of life. The first pale silver of the morning brushes against the high walls of the Sankore Mosque. The temperature has dropped, and the heat of the previous day is now but a memory held within the thick mud-brick structures. A cool breeze travels through the narrow winding alleys, carrying with it the scent of dry earth and the faint musk of the river far to the south. In the library, the leather bindings of the manuscripts feel cool to the touch, and the ink on the parchment has dried into a permanent record of thought. The silence of the early hour is profound, a space where the mind can linger on the mysteries of the stars and the wisdom of the ancestors. The city remains in a state of quiet repose as the stars begin to fade into the brightening sky. A single oil lamp flickers in the corner of a scholar's chamber, its light casting long dancing shadows across the piles of books. The scholar stirs in his sleep, his hand resting near a pen that has been his companion through the long hours of the evening. He is a man who has dedicated his life to the pursuit of knowledge, and his dreams are filled with the symbols and the stories of his people. The city of Timbuktu is a place of many layers, a city that has seen the rise and fall of empires and the passage of countless generations. Its buildings are made of the earth itself, and they seem to breathe with the cycle of the seasons. The mud-brick walls are a testament to the ingenuity of the builders who used the materials at hand to create a center of learning that is known throughout the region. As the light of the morning grows stronger, the details of the city become more visible. The intricate carvings on the doors of the houses, the patterns of the woven mats on the floors, and the delicate script on the pages of the books. Every object has a story to tell, a history that is woven into the fabric of the city and its culture. The scholar wakes and rises from his mat, his movements slow and deliberate. He washes his face with cool water from a ceramic basin, the liquid refreshing his skin and clearing his mind. He then performs his morning prayers, his voice a low murmur in the stillness of the chamber. He is a man of faith, and his devotion is a source of strength and of peace. He then returns to his work, his fingers tracing the lines of a manuscript that he has been studying for many weeks. It is a treatise on astronomy, a subject that has long fascinated him, and he finds new insights with every reading. He is a man who is never satisfied with what he knows, and who is always seeking to expand his understanding of the universe. The library is a place of sanctuary, a space where the noise of the outside world is muffled and the mind can focus on the task at hand. The books are arranged on shelves of cedar wood, their spines labeled with the titles and the authors of the works. There are thousands of volumes in the collection covering a wide range of subjects, from theology and law to medicine and science. The scholar is one of many who come to the library to study and to learn. They are men and women from all walks of life, united by their love of books and their desire for knowledge. They spend their days in the library reading and writing and engaging in spirited discussions about the ideas they have encountered. The city of Timbuktu is a hub of intellectual activity, a place where ideas are exchanged and where new ways of thinking are developed. It is a city that is open to the world and that welcomes scholars and travelers from far and wide. It is a place of tolerance and of respect where different cultures and traditions can coexist in harmony. As the sun rises higher in the sky, the city comes to life. The sounds of the market, the cries of the vendors and the clatter of the carts fill the streets. The scholars continue their work in the library, their minds focused on the books in front of them. They are the keepers of the flame of knowledge, and they take their responsibility seriously. The scholar finishes his reading for the morning and takes a break to walk in the courtyard. The garden is a place of beauty and of peace, with its lush greenery and its cooling fountain. He sits on a stone bench and watches the birds as they fly from tree to tree. He finds inspiration in the natural world, and he feels a sense of connection to all living things. He then returns to his chamber and begins to write his own commentary on the manuscript. He has been studying his pen, moves across the page with a steady pace as he records his thoughts and his observations. He is a man who has much to say and who is eager to share his knowledge with others. The work of the scholars of Timbuktu is a testament to the power of the human spirit and to the importance of education. They have preserved the wisdom of the past, and they have contributed to the advancement of knowledge in many fields. Their legacy is one that will continue to inspire future generations. The city of Timbuktu is a place of memory and of hope, a city that has weathered many storms and that remains a beacon of light in the desert. Its stories are told in the pages of its books and in the hearts of its people. It is a city that will always be a part of the story of humanity. The scholar finishes his writing for the day and carefully stores his manuscript in a wooden box. He then takes a final look at the library before he leaves for the evening. He is a man who is at peace with himself and with the world around him. He knows that his work is important, and he is proud to be a part of the community of scholars in Timbuktu. He walks through the streets of the city as the sun sets on the horizon. The colors of the sky are vibrant, and the shadows are long and deep. He feels a sense of gratitude for the life he has, and for the opportunity to study and to learn. He is a man who has found his purpose in the world and who is truly content. The night falls over the city and the stars come out in the sky. The library is quiet and the books are at rest. The scholars are asleep, their dreams filled with the wisdom of the ages. The city of Timbuktu is a place of peace and of tranquility, a city that is at home in the desert. As the moon rises in the sky, it casts a silver glow over the city and its buildings. The shadows are soft and the atmosphere is calm. The world is at rest and the silence of the evening is profound. It is a time for reflection and for contemplation, a time to appreciate the beauty of the world and the mystery of life. The story of the scholars of Timbuktu is a story of dedication and of passion, a story of the power of the mind and the endurance of the human spirit. It is a story that will continue to be told for many years to come, a story that will inspire and that will endure. The city of Timbuktu is a place of wonder and of wisdom, a city that will always be a part of the heart of Africa. The cycle of the day and the evening continues a steady measure of the passage of time as the first light of a new dawn begins to touch the horizon. Thank you for walking through history with me tonight. Until next time on Quiet History, sleep well.